Hello everyone and welcome back to the Smallholding. In this video I'm going to be showing you my complete hammock camping setup. Everything that I've got, I'm going to put it all up and show you how I use it basically. I've only ever had the one hammock. I've got a very basic canvas hammock which I string up between these two trees on a bit of blue rope, and that's all very well, but what I wanted when I wanted one for actually overnight camping is something that obviously is a bit warmer and something that I can keep all the midges and insects out. There's a lot of midges around today actually, so something that had some sort of insect mesh built into it. So the company I decided to go with is called DD Hammocks. So I went for the travel hammock slash bivvy because it can actually be put up on the ground and pegged down, and then you use the elastic cords to hold the mesh up, so you can actually lay it on the ground should you want to. And then obviously it's got the tie ropes built into it for hanging it between trees or posts or whatever you've got. For the tarp over the top, I went for the DD camo tarp. This is 3 meters square, comes with a guy rope and some little hooks at the top that you can put the guy rope through. And you can set this up in all different various sort of ways. You can set it up as a perfect V or a slightly longer back with just a little sunshade. You know, you can set it up on a triangle sort of corner to corner as well. Various different ways. I tend to just do it like a basic V. It's the easiest way of doing it. And then obviously you get some cold nights even now. You know, we're in June now, and even though the days are pretty warm, it's still a bit chilly at night. So the thing with any sort of hammock, I should imagine, but especially these nylon ones, you've got a very thin bit of material between you and the outside world, and any sort of heat is just going to wick away in the breeze. So what this under blanket does is it clips on to the hammock around the sides and at the ends, and it just hangs sort of just under where you're laying. It's adjustable, so you can sort of adjust it to your body and your weight, and it just traps that bit of air there and provides a little bit of a warm layer just to insulate you from below. And then what I've also got, because I didn't buy this originally, I bought this because I tried all of my sleeping bags and I tried fleece blankets, things like that, and actually blankets work better than sleeping bags. With sleeping bags, when you're trying to get into the hammock and you're sort of twisting and getting into it, the sleeping bags can twist and turn a bit, and they're a bit of a pain. You can't then do them up and they move, and it's a bit awkward. So I actually bought this hammock quilt. So it's similar to a sleeping bag, but basically what it's got is it's got a little pocket at the bottom where your feet go, and it hasn't actually got much of a back to it. It just sort of goes over you. I'm trying to think if it studs up. I think it does up. It can do up around your head from what I remember. It's been a while since I've used it. But I'll show you that anyway. So that's basically designed for hammocks. It just basically goes over the top of you. And then I've got one little trick, which after many times of hammock camping and using all sorts of various things to try and get a better night's sleep. I like hammock camping anyway, but this thing that I found, it just makes an already nice night into a perfect night. It makes me sleep so much better, makes it a whole lot more comfortable. So I'll show you that near the end when I've got it all set up. It's just a very simple little thing, but you know, I'll show you at the end. So let's start getting it put up. I'll do it all in real time so you can sort of see how long it takes. It's been a while since I've set up. I haven't camped out in this hammock for a couple of years now. I've had a few back issues, but I'm hopefully on the mend now, and hoping to do a bit more camping. So let's get her put up. I'll start by putting the main hammock up, and this is quite easy. When you finish using it, just roll it up as tight as you can, and they fit fairly well into the stuff bags. A bit tight, he says. Come on. There we go. So I just wrap it round as tight as I can get it when I finish, and just basically roll the hammock up like that. So this is your length of cordage. Each side is probably, if I lay it out, about 8 foot, I should imagine, and that's either side. So obviously you can, if your trees are quite wide apart, you can still fit in, and this just all goes into this end here and it's nice strong ripstop nylon, so it's not gonna tear or anything unless you are silly enough to put sharp objects in it. Now what I do, and I don't know if this is the absolute proper way, but this is what I do. So I bring it over my shoulder so I know it's going down to the hammock evenly, and I go around the tree. I just got to look at the distance there, and I'll pull it back, and then I tie it this side of the tree so it goes round twice, and I just tie it in a bow. That always holds it. A nice big bow like that. And that has always held it, it's never failed. I may need to adjust it, I should have laid it out perhaps first, but no, that looks about right. So it's the same this end. What I've got here at this end is what they call a hammock snake, I think it's called. It's like a snake skin. So it's a camo cover that when I'm not camping, it pulls down tight over the whole length of the hammock and just keeps it sort of weatherproof and any bugs and things out. So I just leave that permanently attached. So I'll do the same this side. So I like to be sort of a couple of feet off the floor if possible. So because this is a thinner tree and it's not got such rough bark, I'm actually going to go round an extra time, just clamping the two cords, and then again I'll just tie a big bow. You can get all sorts of different hooks and ties, different things specifically designed for trees that are quick adjusting, and carabiner hooks and all that, but to be honest, I find this that it comes with is very quick and pretty simple. So that's about the right height. I like to just sort of get up onto my tiptoes as I sit into it, is the sort of way I like to do it. Right, now basically these are your two elastics that go either end, and what you've got is a place where you can put through these two little sticks just to hold your net in nice and wide and away from your face. So I'll just bring you in and show you what I'm doing with that. So these little sticks that fold in half, they just thread in. Oh, actually one of the bungs came off that last time, look at that. So basically there's a hole one side there, only on one side, and you just put that in to this little bit of nylon, and then that just holds it. When you tie this up to the tree, it just holds it a bit wider. So I'll put them in both sides. Easy as that. And then all I do, I've got these elastic cords that come with it, and I just go up the tree, and you can adjust these, you know, any way you want. This is quite close, so I'll just come back down and hook that onto there, like that. And this side, I'll just come up. I don't know if that'll, yeah, that will come down. I just bought some mini carabiners. These little carabiners don't come with it, but I just bought a little pack of those, just aluminium ones. So there you go, that's your basic hammock. I'll just take my knife out of my pocket. That's your basic hammock setup. You can hook this up onto the top, out of your way, should you not want it, and what I do is just tie a bit of string around there just to hold it. So that's the basic hammock up. It only takes a couple of minutes really. There's a few crumbs in there from the last time I used it off my boots. What you have got on this, it's actually on this side, is that the bottom part of the hammock is actually double layered, so you can slide in like these self-inflating sleep liners and stuff like that in the bottom, which I have got one that I bought. It's only about like a 1/2 inch thick, self-inflating liner, but they just feel a bit hard, and you can sort of feel the edges, and they shift a bit, and they just don't really work in my opinion. So I've never really used it other than just that one time. So basically for the hammock itself, to get into the hammock, just hold it each side and just sit into it like that, and then you just lay back and put your feet up. It's quite a generous hammock. It does come right up and over you, so any breeze through the night actually doesn't really, when you're laying down, you'll see it'll disappear completely basically. So it's actually really good. And the insect mesh zips up all the way around, and you're completely encased. And there's, where the bars are, there's a little hanging point, so you can hang a torch or whatever, you know, from the side. And it's got a couple of pockets in the side, I think on each side. Yeah, there's another one there and there. And that's the basic hammock setup. I like it to be about this height. It's quite high, so I can just sort of sit here and just touch the floor. If I'm sitting, I can have a little rock. And if you pull the hammock behind you a bit, obviously this I will quite often peg up, but you can just sit back into the hammock. If you tie up your netting out the way, and you can just sit in your hammock this way. It's quite nice and chill. Go away, bug. That's why I've got the insect mesh. But yeah, so that's about the height I generally tend to do it, so I'm a good couple of feet off the floor. But right, I will show you the under blanket now. I'll just zip up the mesh there. So the under blanket just hooks onto these hooks, 1, 2, and then I think it just hooks on the end. Like I say, it's been a couple of years, so I'm going to be a bit slower at doing it than I was. So it's basically a sort of quilted sleeping bag material, and it just comes with clips so that you can clip it on all the way around. Just trying to remember if there's a certain way it goes, because like I say, I haven't used it for a couple of years. I think it's just the same both ends. Yeah, so we'll clip it on and get it going. Just remembering how to do these things. Like I say, it's been a little while. I'm only just starting really to get back into camping again. Right, So that is basically it. And it looks a bit slack when you first get it set up, but then as you get into it, you go down in it on these elastic ropes, it just kind of sits there just below you. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, there you go. So that's basically just sitting, and you can do the tension on this side and this side with a little locking nut, and that just basically sits up around you and gives you that sort of protection from underneath. So the bottom of it, there's just a bit of slack. It's not too tight. You want that little bit of slack so that it just catches that cushion of air. Yeah, that's about right, I think. That's pretty good. So that's that. And then I'll just show you the hammock quilt. So like I say, this is basically a sleeping bag. So that's this is the back of the sleeping bag, and you've got studs up here so that your feet are actually in a pocket there. And then at the top, yeah, I was right, it studs around, so you can stud it around your head. So basically when you're in it, it's like that. So your back is open, and you just sort of putting your feet in it, and you can get in and out without it moving. A normal sleeping bag shifts about far too much, and obviously you can do it up a little bit around your neck. So yeah, I mean that's quite effective. Like I say, a normal sleeping bag, you'll lay it in, and as you sit on it and you twist to go in, the whole thing just moves. And I just spent half the night shifting about trying to get the sleeping bag, and it just absolutely did my head in. So I bought that, and it is much better with the other thing that I'll show you when I've finished. So what I'll do now is I'll put the tarp up. So the tarp comes with a nice long section of decent thick black rope. I can't honestly remember if it came with the little carabiners or not. I've had it a few years now, but I've got a feeling I might have had to buy some extras. But it comes with all the guy ropes. That's a bit of extra paracord. I think I bought that. But this is the basic tarp. It's a fairly lightweight tarp, but what I like is that all the corners and everything are reinforced, properly stitched in with these heavy duty bits and these proper nylon strapping to add your carabiners to. So I don't know if you can see that. You've got the carabiners, but it's all properly stitched and reinforced on all the corners and in the middle. So it's a good tarp. So what I do with the tarp rope is I will tie this to the tree and across, and it depends on the gap I've got, but if you do a knot, like a double loop knot, I don't know what it'd be called, I'm not a scout or anything, but if you do that double knot, then that can tie to your tarp, and you can adjust your tarp by sliding that along the rope to pull the tarp tight, but the tarp then won't slide back. So that's just a little trick to tighten your tarp up. So I'll put the tarp just above the hammock string, and I'm not going to do any massively fancy knot. I'm just going to go around a couple of times and just tie it in a knot. Like I say, it's always worked for me. Make sure it's pulled nice and tight. And they give you plenty of rope. This is a really long bit. Right, that's nice and tight. And all I do is find the centre of the tarp. So that's the centre ridge line. And like I say, it's got these things you can put the rope through, but because I'm only stringing it just above, I'm literally just going to throw the tarp over. It is a little bit windy today. So I'll just tie that to that knot, pull it along. That was the wrong bit, that wasn't the middle section. That's the middle section, Phil, get it right. I'll just bring you in and show you what I do. So I'll just show you that knot. So as you can see, you can just slide it along the rope like that. But that's where I want to tie it to. That's the middle section. So I just tie it to there, again with just a knot. I'm sure there's better knots I could use, but I'm no bushcraft expert really. Just do it in a knot. And then if you grip it, hold the rope, you can slide it and just tension up your tarp, but it won't slide back, not easily anyway. That just tensions your tarp up like that. So now the tarp is just hanging straight over the hammock. So that is the tarp now hanging basically from the halfway point over the hammock. So all I'm going to do is just put on a couple of guy ropes and just tie it back to the trees behind, just to strain it out and away from the hammock. So all I've got is these little carabiners and just a little hoop in the end of the guy line. You can peg it obviously if you want, but because I've got trees here, I'm just going to tie it to the trees. Sorry, I had a little bit of confusion there. I remember I lost a guy rope, so I ended up making one out of a bit of paracord. So hook that on there. I'm just actually using the pegs just to set it up. So I'll just, actually this one probably could come back to the tree. I'll tie this one to the tree. Right, so basically that's the setup. I'm only doing this to show you. If I was camping out, I'd probably put extra guy ropes on, especially when it's this windy. But that's the basic setup. So there you go. That's a basic hammock setup. Now, obviously, you know, this took me probably 20 minutes or so. And I had to untangle the guy ropes and then realised I was short of guy ropes. It's been a while since I put it all up, but it's a pretty quick, it's much quicker than putting up a tent for definite. And it's actually, I think, a more comfortable way of sleeping. But yeah, it's a nice little spot in here. So this gives you a nice bit of shade in the summer and keeps the rain off. On a wet night. It's lovely, really. It's just a nice place to chill out. Like I say, I do tie these up normally out of my way. That's the only one thing, because they are fixed. It is, if you're not using it, it is slightly in your way, but all you need is a little bit of Velcro or a bit of string to just tie that up like that. And you can just chill out in your hammock. But I will show you now my little secret. Right, so my little secret that I use for hammock camping to make it much more comfortable. Bearing in mind this does only work because I camp down here at the Smallholding. This wouldn't work if you're out trekking, but basically what I brought myself was this really big furry cushion. So like I say, the inflatable mats and everything that you can put in between the base layer of the hammock, they just feel hard and stiff and horrible, and they just don't work. I've tried a couple of them. I tried a foam one and a inflating one, and they shift and they feel funny. Don't really work. This actually was sold, I found it on a market for 20 quid as a waterproof dog bed. So it's all obviously nylon, and it's completely waterproof, but I put it furry side up so it's nice and warm. And it basically sits in here, and it just provides you, even when it's compacted, it's still probably an inch thick. So I'll put it right up this end, not so much down by my feet. And it sits in there like that. And because it's quite wide, it doesn't move, it fits the whole hammock. And the difference it makes, like I say, it's only a simple thing, basically a big cushion, but the difference that makes is actually unbelievable. It doesn't move, you just have to hold it as you twist in. But, oh god, that is just, and it gives you a nice warm place to put your arms. I quite often sleep with my arms above my head like that, and it just, oh, the difference. That's so comfortable. I've forgotten how nice it is. I could have a quick nap now, actually. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so that's it. Simple little trick, but if you're obviously traveling to your camping spot in a car or something, maybe even on a bike, and you can fit like a fairly big cushion. I don't know if some sort of beanbag might do the same thing, but that just turns a good night's sleep into an amazing night's sleep. So yeah, look at that. That really does make the difference. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that little video, and please remember to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the channel, and we will see you next time guys. Take it easy.